we are going to get ourselves into writing your own scripts. This is probably one of the, again, more useful things for you to do. Like if you find yourself writing, like doing the same tasks over and over again in the command line, whether that's like downloading a file, executing it, and moving that storage to a different area, like you can put those into like scripts, and then you can run just like a script instead of having to run like a bunch of commands in a row. You can just go and run a whole script, right? I think that makes sense. And luckily, like you've kind of already know how to do this because you and I have been programming this entire time just interactively, right? We've been doing, running one command and waiting for the result. With this, you can just use bash script to run many commands in a row, and it's all using the same syntax. Okay, so we're in the shell scripts and then writing your own scripts part of this. So let's go ahead and go and make our very own my first bash script. So we're going to do this all in VI because it's a lot of fun, right? So we're going to come back over to our command line here, and we're here in my home directory, and I'm just going to say VI, and you could also do this with nano if you want to. So make a file, what are we going to call it? genfiles _ genfiles.sh. Okay, I'm going to put myself in insert mode with I, and I'm going to say the first line is going to be make dir -p ~temp. Okay. So this -p means if the file or the folder already exists, don't error out, right? Because otherwise, if you just do make dir without the -capital or the -p, if temp already exists, is like, hey, that already exists, I'm not going I'm going to error out now, and your script would fail. So the -p means if it's already exists, great, just don't do anything. Okay, then we're going to cd into that temp directory that we just created. So the nice thing about you doing cd this way is it's only going to last for the duration of this script invocation, right? So it's not like it's going to, if I run this folder, it's not going to transport me into temp. It's just for the duration of this script. Okay, then I'm going to do touch file, and then we're going to do that range thing that we saw before, .txt, and then we're going to say echo done. So, as you might imagine, this is going to create a directory, it's going to change directory into it, it's going to create a bunch of files, and then it's going to echo done. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward from there. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape and write and quit. Okay, and then I can just say source, what did we call it? Genfiles, right? And then you can see there, it just says done. So source is one way you can do that. I could also do that with .genfiles. Oh, sorry, I have to get back out of this. .genfiles, like that. Totally equivalent. I would say that the dot notation there, that works in more distributions of Linux. Source only works in some of them. And you can also say bash genfiles, like that. And that's the part. So here's why. Notice that this did not change my directory, whereas source did. And that's because bash is actually creating a sub-process. And so the sub-process will change directories, but once that finishes, it goes back to my parent process. Whereas source is running this in the same process, which is why it's changing our directory. Kind of a weird hair to split there. But let's, I guess, first of all, does anyone have any questions about that? It seems like it's a relatively straightforward application of things that we've already done before. It's just putting everything into a file. And it's just nice because you don't have to remember how to do it. You just say, like, I'm going to create this script file. It's going to do one thing for me, and then it's done. Kind of like what we did with the bash 2048 there as well, right? That's the same idea. That's just someone's very long game that they put into a script file.